Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Friday morning. I'm excited about a great show we have this morning, but first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. And we're looking at a high today of 88, a low of 77, and a water temperature of 88.7. So it's pretty close right there. Not a lot going on as far as really stormy weather, but just keep your eyes to the skies. Now, take a look at our river reading brought to us by Sand Hill Seafood up on Highway 77 just north of Bozeman. We're looking at the Apalachicola Bluntstown this morning is a 10.7. It's dropping out fast, a really fast, strong drop. And take a look at the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, and we're looking at a 5.2. It's really a little steady this morning. It's dropped out last couple of days, a little steady. So it should be a great weekend to get on both rivers. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Porcelain. Folks, strong tides today, really good, almost 1.8 foot right there. We're looking at high tide this morning, even at 9 o'clock, and the low tide tonight at 7:40. So good, strong tides today and tomorrow. So great situation. We're getting out on the water this weekend. All right, now the marine forecast will be coming out of south at 13, okay? 13 out of south, so that's fairly strong for a summer morning. So be ready for that. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with our special guest. Welcome back, and welcome to these guys, Trevor Taylor and Steve Ward. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Man, this is when we need 1 hour for a show because we've got so much to talk about. I'm just excited about having them on. This is the winning team from last week's Redfish tournament, IFL tournament out in Houma, Louisiana.
That's correct.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
101 teams and y'all get first place.
We did. It was a crazy week. Let's just say that.
We're going to get to that. Well, he's not just saying that. I did not know all the stuff y'all had to go through, but what a great a story for outdoorsmen to see how they ended up winning this. But first, tell the folks a little bit about your background and let them get to know you.
So my name's Trevor Taylor. Originally, growing up in Kansas, my father would take me out fishing since I was old enough to walk. When I was 19, I joined the service with the Air Force. I'm currently in the Air Force here, stationed at Tyndall Air Force Base. That's how I kind of got familiar with saltwater fishing and the redfish industry, and it kind of just blew up from there. I had some friends when I got to Eglin Air Force Base. John Ott and Mike McClure, they got me started in red fishing. They took me out on their boat. I just had freshwater tackle at the time, and I didn't know what I was doing, didn't even know what a redfish was, and then this was about 4 years ago, and it just kind of blew up. We went out there, they made fun of me for the tackle I was using. You know, it was all light tackle, so it really wasn't prepared for the fish that we were going to be fishing for. But I had a lot of fun, and from there on it just kicked off, and I've enjoyed it ever since. I got a lovely wife named Tiffany. No kids yet, but eventually we might start. Okay.
Isn't that a wonderful story? 4 years ago, didn't even know what a redfish was, and now 4 years later, it wins one of the biggest tournaments around against the best fishermen. Steve?
My name's Steve Ward. I was born and raised in Panama City. My dad was in the military. He was a Navy diver, so I grew up around the water. And he got me into fishing in the outdoors at a really early age, and it stuck with me. And yeah, my wife and daughter live here also. I raised them here, and
cool.
So.
And the thing about it, isn't this so typical of the Florida Panhandle? You got a serviceman that comes in, then you got a local guy, and they hook up and become really good fishing partners and all. So, how long have y'all been temed up together?
To be honest, this is our first year as a team.
I know, but y'all have fished. I know y'all. I see y'all fishing a lot.
We fished together for fun, and I met Steve a few years ago in the ECRC local tournaments that I got familiar with, and Steve's a great guy. He's a great partner, better friend, and we knew going into this year, because last year we both had separate partners, and kind of my partner was also in the military, and he got PCS to Virginia. So I was searching for a new partner. Steve was in the process of finding some new partners, so we just kind of matched up. We knew we'd worked good together. We got 2 different styles, so it took us a little bit to kind of figure it out. But this is what, our 3rd tournament together now?
Yeah, 3rd tournament.
3rd tournament.
Yep.
And y'all won it on the 3rd one.
It's a good start.
I don't know, and you can't say beginner luck because they're going to talk about how how they had to go through some really trials and tribulations in this tournament, which was amazing and all. What we're going to do, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the tackle they use. We're going to show pictures and all. And we've got all kind of neat things to do. But let's go ahead. We cannot forget, this is Friday now. We cannot forget we've got to draw names. Our viewers win stuff all the time, so especially on Friday. So Trevor, I'll let you draw this one. This is going to be for Sandhill Seafood. Okay, this will be for the seafood platter, and the winner is
Tina Rutherford.
Tina Rutherford from Deer Point Lake. All right, we're going to put that down right here. We're going to take a quick break and come back. All right, welcome back, folks. We're here with Steve Taylor. Trevor Taylor and Steve Ward. I have a friend named Steve Taylor. He's a pastor. But the winning team out of Houma, Louisiana, out of 101 boats that y'all won. But tell people real quick how they can get started in red fishing with teams and all, about
how we got started.
How they can get started, really.
So the best way to get started, and this is kind of how it worked out for me as well, is find a local tournament, local club in your area, and get talking with those guys, because those guys are going to help you out. I mean, Mark Cowart, Fred Myers, they're big names in the industry, but they also fish these local tournaments and they support the local community, and that's the biggest thing, is being able to support your local community. And when we do these club tournaments, everybody's there for fun. I mean, there is a little bit of money involved, but it's mostly for fun, and everybody's teaching everybody how to fish, and that's the best way to go about it if you're trying to get into it.
Good answer, good answer. All right, we're going to go through some pictures now. Let's talk about, we'll go in order. Tell us about this first picture right here. So
that was a pre-fishing day. I believe that was day 1. Mark Cowart and Michael Cowart took that picture. It's a great photo. We're in a pond there fishing off the tower. We're sight fishing some reds. There was a little bit of overcast that day, but believe it or not, right before that, we had actually hit a steel pipeline on our run.
That's amazing. Let's go and talk about that, because you told me that this morning. Now, tell us what happened.
It was one of those things that it was totally our fault. I take full blame as the captain of the boat, running the boat. We were going through an area that we were extremely familiar with. We ran through it 100 times, and when we ran through it, we saw there were some signs, but they were facing the opposite direction, so you couldn't actually read the signs at the moment. So the direction that we were running, they were facing opposite of us. And we were running, we could see some barges doing some work, and what they were doing is the gas companies out there were running pipeline out to their wrecks in the ocean. And when they were running those pipelines, normally they submerge the pipelines. Well, at the moment, since they were just working on them, they were suspended on the surface, and so they were sticking out about a foot out of the water. But the water was rushing over the top of the pipeline, kind of like creating a waterfall. And so when we got through a lake, I wanted to go around those barges, and what happened was, instead of looking both directions like you would in a vehicle in an intersection, I just shot straight right, and it was too late. I saw the water rushing over the pipe, and at first I didn't know what it was. And then we hit it, and the keel of the boat took most of the brunt, and thankfully, because it popped the front end up, and when it did that, the transom hit, and then that kicked the motor up and over the pipe, so we didn't lose our lower unit. Otherwise, we wouldn't have fished that tournament, wouldn't have had a chance to win. We would have been going home.
So y'all started off in a bad situation. Well, y'all were able to salvage the time because it really didn't do any structural damage, but it just sort of knocked stuff off and everything. Yeah,
that Ranger Cayman 223 is a strong boat now. I put it through some stuff before, but nothing to that extent.
So anyway, so that had just happened. So y'all are pre-fishing here. I know y'all still a little nervous, aren't you, from that happening? That a little scary, wasn't it?
It was terrifying. Yeah. So about every 10 to 15 minutes, I was jumping down off the tower and checking the bilge to make sure we weren't sinking.
Wow. Okay. All right, so let's see.
So that's a great photo there. We were sight fishing in those reds, and that was about an 8-pound red right there.
Is this in pre-fishing?
That's pre-fishing.
Okay.
That was probably taken Wednesday, and there's a lot of vegetation where we were pre-fishing, and so you just got to pick around the grass, and they're just floating on the surface, and you just pitch to them.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, that was a picture Trevor took. I caught that fish. He was tailing on a bank. And I tossed it out in front of him, and he just inhaled it.
Oh, so you saw it all happen. That's the
Yes.
beauty of sight fishing.
It is.
You
It's
watch
great.
the action. That's a great. All right.
That's another one that I sight fished that one on a Boca Chica bait paddle tail, and I was going to release it, and Trevor said, "Hold it up, I'll take a picture." So I held it up for him.
Good, and we're going to show these baits a little bit later on the baits they caught these on. Okay.
So this was the weigh-in of the IFA tournament that we just recently won. And a little story behind this. So Mark Cowart and Mike Cowart, great friends of ours, they came in, we both came in early. We had our fish early, and they were saying that they had great weight. And we knew we had good weight. So it was kind of a jockey match between us and going back and forth, and we were just messing with each other. And I told Steve, I was like, let's weigh your fish first, because we assumed that he had the smaller fish in the bag, and I knew if we had 8.5 pounds, we had a shot at beating them. Ooh. Because we knew we had a 9-pounder in the boat, and so I believe the fish that I had in my hand was the 9-pounder. We weren't totally sure on that because they were in the bags, but I said, let's go ahead and weigh yours first, and then that would kind of release the suspense, and it just, it was a cool moment. So that's Steve Ward there. He's weighing his fish.
How much was it?
That one was 8.5, and once we weighed that one, we knew the other one was 9.5 pounds.
Oh man! So, all right.
Yeah.
Again, another pre-fishing photo. That was a little bit different there because there wasn't as much vegetation in the water, so we were able to. Basically, we were just throwing some copper spoons and just slow retrieving them to get a reaction strike.
Now, did y'all end up fishing the same area you pre-fishing? You pretty well had found them?
We did. Early on, we found them, and then we kind of, throughout the day, every day we like to split it up and change different regions.
That's a good point.
We'll go west one day, east another day, and we really spread it out, and then we try and work our way back in the middle to figure out what the best weight is.
That's a great game plan. All right, what about this one?
So this was my first polygraph, and
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime you win a tournament, a big tournament, typically you're going to be followed up with a polygraph to make sure that there was no rule violations or infractions and there was no cheating.
You know, when I saw this picture, I wonder what was unique about it. Now I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So we're hooked up to the machine and getting asked a bunch of questions.
That's cool, and you passed.
We did.
All right.
Another great photo. This was the pictures after the tournament. We found out we won. We're receiving our checks, and we won a boat.
Wow.
It was a Ranger RB 190.
Wow.
And so those are our plaque certificates, and the Ranger Cup. I'm sponsored with Ranger, and one of the cool things that they do is you register your boat, and then you sign up, and then they give you a bonus check for
that's a
using
great
their boat.
That's a great organization.
And that 9.5 pounder Trevor also got him big fish.
Yep, we did win big fish as well.
Big fish too. Okay, here they are.
Steve, you want to?
Well, tell us about this one.
Go ahead, Trevor.
Well, so the other thing you do is you go ahead and you take a picture of your winning fish and or any of your guys' fish that you catch that's in the tournament. And right there, I'm holding up the one that's a 9.48.
Holy cow.
And Steve Ward's holding up the 8.55. So we had a total weight of 1803.
Wow. So you pretty well estimated. Y'all fish enough. You pretty well knew what you had.
Yeah, so
you knew you were in good shape.
So typically, obviously, you're going to measure the fish because they have to be between 17 and 27 inches in Louisiana for the IFA. And also, you're looking for the most weight within that length. So we weigh each fish and we measure it.
That's cool. Hey, what about this?
That's a cool photo.
That is.
So we just found. I just got done weighing my fish, and we just found out that we had a personal PR record for weight. 1803, and in Louisiana, that's a really great weight. Anywhere that's a great weight.
18 pounds for 2 fish.
So I wouldn't say that we felt 100% confident that we were going to win it, but it's tough to beat an 18-pound weight, and so we felt like we were sitting pretty good.
And I love that photo. That just shows the appreciation and the love y'all have for each other. That's awesome. And these are the places here.
This is probably my favorite photo, mainly because Mark and Michael, they're on the right of us. I mean, they are a great group of guys. We were staying with them. So we were staying with another group, Mike Roper and Brad, who are great guys as well. And so for 2 of the teams that were staying in the house, we took first and second.
Oh, cool. That's
so
cool.
That was a great photo.
All right, so we're gonna get through these pretty fast. There's your checks there. And okay, well that's it. That's the last one. So that was a happy moment.
It was definitely a highlight of our career.
Yes, it was. It was great.
All right, Steve. I'm gonna let you draw this. Okay, the winner of this one. I mean, that's some great pictures. Thank you for sending those. This is gonna be. We're going to Tropic Dog Seafood or $20 gift certificate. So draw one name out of there. $20 gift certificate. Who do we have? Donna Borges over in Santa Rosa Beach. Okay, you draw one more, and this is gonna be for the Big Red Snapper. Big Red Snapper. And who was that?
Deb
Crumknocker from St. Joe Beach. All right, Deb. Very good. St. Joe. We got St. Joe, Deer Point, and Santa Rosa. We're going to take our final break. Come back and show you some of this tackle these guys have used to make them successful. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're going to do a fishing game time real quick from Blue Water Outriggers. We're looking at one time today, 12:09 and 2:09. I always ask my guests this question. Do y'all believe in these fishing game times? They buy off and on, don't they?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to look. We're going to do, instead of famous Friday fishing report, we're going to talk about, we'll get that later, but we're going to talk tackle talk. So these guys are ultra successful, so I'm going to let y'all tell us some tackle y'all like to use.
All right. Well, this is one of the baits that we use sight fishing during tournaments. This is made by Boca Chica Baits. They're out of Texas.
Okay.
And we like to rig it on a Rockport Rattler weedless hook right here.
Okay.
And it's also got rattles in it, so it's got some noise to it.
It'll rattle.
And this tail has actually a segmented tail, so it has a lot of action and vibration in the water.
Sit it back on here. I want to see something.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so it's segmented there.
Yep.
Okay.
It's called the flex tail.
So so they get a lot more action in it, don't it?
Yes, it does.
And you use that one a lot. I mean, that's one of y'all's go-to baits.
Yes.
The great thing about that tail, with it being as flexible as it is you can slow roll it.
Okay.
And you can speed jig it, and it's going to have the same action, if not more, depending on the speed. But even slow rolling, it has a great amount of action. It has a lot of wiggle to it.
Okay. And how do y'all determine whether you're going to slow roll or fast retrieve? What determines that?
To be honest, it's just kind of based on, honestly, water temperature has a lot to do with it. That's going to determine what the fish are doing. Another thing is we look for, depending on the structure that we're fishing in, that might determine if the fish are up and they're swimming, they're on the top of the water column, we're going to speed it up a little bit. If they're down, we're going to slow it down and get it down there to them so that way they can pick it up off the bottom.
Good point. And then what's the name of the bait company?
Boca Chica Bait Company.
Boca Chica Bait Company.
Taylor Guest is the owner, and he's out of Houston.
Out of Houston, and this will be our local tackle stores. We can find somewhere.
There's a couple places in Florida, but it's mostly in Texas right now, and there's some in Louisiana.
Okay, that'd be a good bait to try right here. Okay, we got more, so keep talking. What else we got?
So we also have the copper spoons, and the main thing that we really enjoy about the copper spoon is you can sight fish with it, and you can also speed jig it. That way you can get a reaction strike. So it's very versatile on what you want to do with it. It's got a great flash to it, so the fish can see it from a good distance. It's got a lot of vibration, and so it's always really successful around here.
Do you use a gold spoon much?
I personally,
No way.
I stick with copper.
Are you serious?
This guy right here is the Copper Spoon King.
That's
He throws them at any condition. He'll hook a fish on a copper spoon.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now what about this color? This like what color is this?
That's
color?
Dirty Dorado.
Okay.
And the other one is Fantasia. Is
Okay.
the name of it.
Tell us about these colors. When you would fish them and all.
I like to use these In the summertime, they're actually good in Louisiana because when they're in the water, they actually have a glow to them. They show up kind of white in the water. And this one I like to use more in the wintertime because it's a darker color and it matches the bottom a little better.
Good point.
So.
Very good point.
We also throw this color a lot in Louisiana because of there's a lot of crab in Louisiana, and it's almost like a gold rush color with the gold flakes in it, and it really mimics a crab real well.
You brought up a good point. I'm going to ask you real quick. Do y'all fish with? I don't see very many guys fishing with like a crab mimic, something like that mimics a crab.
You can. The main reason why I don't is because most of them are not weedless, and anything that we're fishing in a lot of heavy vegetation, and we need to be able to pull it off that surface grass and drop it into those small pockets, and then put it in front of the fish's mouth.
Yeah, we're throwing these on bait casters with 50-pound braid.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
50-pound braid.
50-pound braid.
Tell us why you're using 50-pound braid.
Because the grass is so thick over there, you have to be able to horse them out of the grass.
Okay.
If you fight them too long, it'll exhaust them and they won't make it.
Well, real quick, Terminal Tackle, what's your leader? What kind of leader you have?
So he uses a different type than I do, but I use Yozuri leader. Anywhere from, depending on what I'm doing, but here I'll use anywhere from 15 to 20 pound in this in salt water that's clean. I'll use a lighter leader, but in Louisiana I'll use 30 pound.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Seagar fluorocarbon. Here I use 20 pound.
Okay.
And in Louisiana I don't use a leader like on my bait casting rods, but on spinning rods I usually put 20 pound on that also.
Awesome. Fellas, we got to wrap it up. I tell you, time will fly. We got a lot more to talk about, don't we?
Yes.
We did.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Winston.
Thank you all for coming on. But don't forget that tonight the National Wild Turkey Federation big banquet down at First Methodist Church downtown. So we got redfish, we got turkey and all. And real quick, what's on the plans? What's coming up?
So we have the Florida Pro that's coming up in September. Then we have in October we have another IFA championship. That's a big one. And then we have a Florida Pro championship.
Okay. And anything around here?
ECRC next week, or it might be 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Got to look into that, but it's a local club tournament. So if you guys want to join,
yeah, it'll be a good time. I'll talk about it next week some on the show. Got to wrap it up, folks. Thank y'all so much for watching the show. We appreciate the sponsorship, appreciate the viewership. Y'all do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.